nonsense. My great.
Awesome. Okay, we are live. Let me get a post up in the Luxe Republic group for questions. I'm going to just cover a couple things before we start with Katie here, if my computer cooperates. And it's been losing Wi-Fi, so if I do go away for a second, I'll be right back. Okay, we are live. Let me get a post. Am I playing back again? The Luxe Republic group for questions. I'm going to just cover a couple things before we start with Katie here, if my computer cooperates. And it's been losing Wi-Fi, so if I do go away for a second, I'll be right back. Okay, we are live. Let me get a post. Am I playing back again? Are you getting that feedback? For questions. Oh my gosh. I'm going to cover a couple things before we start with Katie here, if my computer cooperates. And it's been losing Wi-Fi, so if I do... Katie, can you hear me? I'll be right back. Okay.
I can't. No, I can't.
Live. What in the world is happening?
I can hear you, but it's what you're saying replaying over and over and over and over.
Ah! Okay.
So I hear like 3 different levels of you talking.
Can you put your headphones in and turn yours down? Try that and see if that helps. I'm sorry, guys, if you're watching live.
I can't. No, I can't.
What in the world is happening?
Can you hear me?
Yes. And I don't hear 15 of me.
I think we're good to go.
Okay.
I have like a... Oh, but I have mad echo.
I don't hear an echo.
I'm only hear myself then.
Okay. Yeah, I don't hear an echo, and I don't think they do either. You're just delayed a little bit, so I'll just...
Okay. Okay, so don't mind if I speak really slow then. Because I hear the words that I speak like 2 seconds after I say them. I don't know if I can do this.
Okay, we're going to wing it and see what happens here.
But you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you perfect. I am going to post in our event thread, if my computer goes fast enough, and open up a thread for questions.
Okay.
So I do want to cover, everybody that's watching, I want to cover, watching. I want to cover a few things. We have, how many days left in the month? Like 6 days left in the month. It's crunch time. So you guys need to be having those conversations, whether it's uncomfortable or not. You need to be doing your follow-ups. You need to be locking in Success Club. You guys have 6 days to do that. So it is a push time, okay? Size is still on sale. We have size on sale through the end of the month for $140. I highly recommend also promoting the 3-day refresh challenge pack for $140 and the club membership challenge pack, which gets them access to like 15 different programs. And that's usually what I lead with now, because size isn't really my thing, and I don't know a lot of people who want size. And so for me, it's easy to promote and lock in a Success Club point by saying that they get access to 15 different programs, plus a 30-day supply of Shakeology, plus 15 different meal plans and things like that. So really suggest promoting that club membership right now, because they do get that free for 90 days. It is still taking forever to load the events page. Success Club Push, if you're not in our Entrepreneur Academy, you can still get in that group. It's a group of 5 coaches, me, Andrea Crowder, Joelle Seuss, Chelsea Pearson, and Katie Hefner. We all have a massive training group with, there's like 1,900 coaches in it right now. And it's just a ton of solid, good information, and I highly recommend joining that group. The link is in our Files tab to join that. You don't qualify, if you're entering now late, you won't qualify for the cash prize at the end or any of the prizes that we do weekly. But you will be able to get in and get some good nuggets of information that a lot of people are really benefiting from. So Last thing I wanted to talk about was our dudes group. Brett is leading our dudes group. Last year we attempted this group, and we had like 6 people in it. Now we have 60 men in it. So if you are a man listening and you're not in the group, please message Brett Odell and he will get you added in. If you are a woman on our team who has a spouse that's a coach or a boyfriend, whatever, that's signed up as a coach and maybe wants to get started in the business, please have them message Brett and he will get them added in. It's a really fun group, and I got to sit in on the Zoom call on Sunday that he did with everybody, and it was just a lot of good information, and I'm really excited about it, just to get some men going strong and some spouses going strong in this business. So still trying to get in there and open that group good. I'm sorry, hang on just a second. Promise. So yeah, message Brett Odell about the dudes group if you have a spouse that wants in, or if you are a male. Females will not be allowed in. Rain a loop. Melissa said, rain a loop. Okay. I still cannot post to my event page, and I don't know why. So if you were listening, hopefully there's a diamond, or maybe, Katie, if you're able to get on the computer, can you, like, do, like, a Q&A thread, like, post your questions here?
Yeah.
Letting me post. That way I can just go in and at least read them when we get started. I'll give you a second to do that before I introduce you. I'll do it at the same time. Okay. Thanks for being patient, everybody. Give Katie a second to get that posted, and then I will introduce her, and we can get started on your nuggets of information. Go, type, type, type.
So just checking, are you still able to hear me?
I can, yeah.
Do you have echo? Okay.
Nope. Sounds good on my end. Okay. She posted. Let me load it and make sure it's showing for me so I don't miss any questions here. Okay. Q&A right here. All right. Katie is an amazing person, amazing coach. We had the pleasure of meeting actually for the first time at Summit this year. She signed up in June 2014. So she's been a coach for just over a year. She was actually a coach that one of my coaches signed, so she's technically a grandbaby coach. But her coach, my coach, quit. And so I adopted her, which we're like, yay! Not that she quit, but that we got adopted to each other. Yeah, so she's done amazing. Her husband and herself were both in my training group whenever they first started, so I was able to kind of help them get started and things like that and get to know them both. But at Summit this year, we finally had the chance to meet in person, and it was really a game changer for both of them. She hit Diamond in April 2015, the end of April this year. And is literally, I don't think you've lost rank once. You've hit Success Club Plus 15, 20, 25 every single month. And I just know that a lot of new coaches, new and old coaches, are going to be able to get a lot of information from you and how you started and what your main focus is, I guess, each day in this business, because a lot of coaches are not like me, not like you, who don't start and get, blown up in their first year of the business. And it did take you a year to get to Diamond. And I think that a lot of coaches don't realize that sometimes it can take time, but once you get there, it starts to pay out pretty quick. So I will open it up to you to let you kind of share your story, and then we'll just go through some questions and stuff.
Okay. I'm going to take these headphones off because they echo so bad. So if you talk, I can't hear you, okay?
Okay. I'll, do this when I talk.
Well, hi there, everybody. I'm very excited to be on this call today and share my story with all of you. It's kind of funny that today's call is labeled Coach Struggles, because I feel like my entire journey has been nothing but overcoming one struggle after another, and it's really been incredible to see where I started and where I am now. It's nothing that I ever expected would happen. And speaking of struggles, today actually is my first call in the history of ever. Raina has asked me to be on calls before, but I always wimped out because I was really scared. So you're going to have to bear with me if today does not go as smooth as I imagine the call going, because it's first for me. So with that said, my story. I feel like my story is a little bit different than other coaches that I've talked to in the business. It seems like most of the coaches that I've talked to, they started off as a solid challenger. They had physical goals that they had tried to reach, and once they reached them, they just couldn't help but share the passion that they had for the product and the results with their friends and family. I personally started coaching without ever having done a program before, and I didn't even really have that much of a transformation in mind. I mean, granted, I had just had a baby. I was 6 months postpartum, so I did have a tiny physical transformation, but that really wasn't the reason why I started Beachbody or why I started coaching. I actually have two strong reasons why I started coaching. The first reason, which I'm just now beginning to realize, is actually my strong why. I didn't realize this honestly until recently. It was just one of my reasons why I had started, but now I know that this is my big reason why I started, and that is for me. I started this business mostly because I, as a person, had things that I wanted to work on. I wasn't exactly happy with who I was as a person and with the things that I felt confident and capable of doing. I guess you could say my whole life I've kind of been like the behind-the-scenes kind of girl. In high school, I was never the girl that was dancing at dances. If I had to do a presentation or speak or do anything in front of the class, I was a straight-A student, so I took a 0 every single time without fail. I did play sports, so technically that was like a spotlight type thing, but I was able to hide behind a team, so it worked for me, and I didn't have to worry about, my lack of confidence. And I mean, even making friends was difficult. I was pretty much kind of a teacher's pet. I didn't really make a bunch of friends, and I wasn't the girl that was out at parties in high school. So you could say that's always been an issue that I've had. I mean, and it carried over into my adult life in the form of some severe social anxiety. I'm talking interviews were a nightmare. You would not catch me going to a store in public unless it was like 7 in the morning or 9 at night, because I was not going to chance seeing somebody that I knew. Bank drive-ups, restaurant drive-ups, I did not even have the guts to go through a drive-thru. Like, I was that incredibly scared of speaking to people, and it seems so simple now, but when I look back at it, it hindered my life in more ways than I could ever imagine. Like, I never felt like I was able to grow or advance as an adult when I was too scared to call a store and ask what hours they were open. Like, it was just that bad. It was miserable. So that by far is my first and foremost reason why I started doing this. I do have a second reason though, and that's actually the financial aspect of things. My entire life, I've always worked since junior high, and did whatever I could just to make some money. I paid for my car, paid for my insurance, my gas. I paid for anything extra that I wanted, and I'll fast forward a little bit from there. 4 years ago, I was working 2 jobs a week, 60 hours a week. I was basically matching Billy's income, and our whole world was turned upside down when I found out that I was pregnant with our first child. We were engaged, and I was pregnant and due 2 weeks after our planned and booked wedding. So my whole world was changed, and then and there we decided that I was going to be quitting work, and I would plan our wedding, I would prepare for the baby. We were in the process of buying a house. We lived in a tiny apartment, and we knew that I wanted to stay home with the kids anyhow. So just then and there, I stopped working and spent all my time working on that. Oh, where's my face? Okay, fast forward through our marriage. Buying a home, 2 babies. Billy and I were in a pretty stable place in our life. We had both of our kids. We knew that we didn't want any more babies. Billy was working 5 miles down the road from where we lived. The school that we wanted the kids to go to was just down the road. I was in that place that I had always dreamed was where I wanted to be. And I mean, it was kind of my little antisocial, perfect position. I just stayed home and took care of the kids. I didn't have to worry about much else. But at that point, when I looked around me, I realized that I wasn't happy with that. Granted, it was perfect for my personality, but I wasn't happy with that personality. That wasn't the person that I wanted to be anyhow. And that's when I began my search for something else that I could do. I knew that one of my biggest issues was the income aspect and the fact that I was not contributing to my family in that way. And honestly, I had began to really resent the fact that Billy got to go into work every single day. He busted butt. He was always getting advances and raises and moving up in the company, and it made me feel so useless that I could not help our family out in that way, and that all the weight of our bills and everything was all on his shoulders. So I decided that I was going to do whatever I could to help with that income and just help to provide for our family in that way. I started looking through every home business I could think of, 31, It Works, a few other ones, and the consistent with all of those was that for each one, I had to throw home parties. I was going to have to stand in front of groups of women all staring at me and be able to overcome all my issues and just speak to them and tell them about the products, and would have to have a backstock and constantly just be in face-to-face contact with people. And that's when I decided to look into Beachbody. I had a friend that had been posting for about 6 months about her Beachbody business, and I've always been into health and fitness, so that interests me. It was never the forefront, but with being an athlete in high school and stuff, I was always into my health and fitness. So I decided that that was something that I would look into, and I, of course, didn't message her or talk to her because that wasn't my thing. So I researched it behind the scenes, and after 6 months of watching her and all my research that I did, I messaged her and was like, hey, I am ready to start right now. I have no questions for you. I am just ready to go. Let's do this. So she got me signed up as a coach. I was so pumped, so excited and ready to go. The first thing that she did was throw me in Raina's 30-day training, which I took every single thing that Raina said to heart. Every single thing that she posted in that group, I did exactly what she told me to do every single day. Granted, some things were hard for me with my issues with confidence and, social anxiety, but knowing that half the reason why I did this was so that I could better myself in that area, I really just dove into it all. So those 30 days passed by, and then nothing. I had nothing. I heard nothing from my coach again. She was not active in the business. I would ask her a few questions, but she would not even respond to me sometimes, and I kind of felt like I was left alone, like I had no idea what I was doing. Luckily, Raina had taught me from the get-go that success club was non-negotiable and consistency would pay off. So I did the few things that I knew. Every single thing, the 3 vital behaviors, the posting every day, adding to my network, without fail, every single day I did what Raina told me would work. And some days it was really hard because I would get 0 likes, 0 comments, no feedback telling me that what I was doing was actually paying off. Really, I had a rough start. I just did not know what I was doing. But I stayed consistent, and I at least had that going for me. Like you heard Raina mention, my coach did end up stopping coaching, so I got Raina by default. And that was kind of a new point in my business. Honestly, it was kind of like me starting over because up until then, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was kind of just doing the basics. So, okay, where's my spot? So with Raina, I had not gotten her, getting started right call. I hadn't got any of her vital little tips of information that I now know is really important when you're getting started out. You get started off on the wrong foot, you basically have to find that point where you just start over and start doing everything the right way. And, like, for example, when I was moved to Raina, I didn't even know that I had hit Success Starters because my coach never told me what it was, and she never recognized me for achieving it, so I did not even know that I had achieved this and earned a free ticket to Summit. So that just goes to show, like, the little things that I didn't even know. But thank goodness I was doing, the little stuff that Raina had told me to do. So I was still kind of started off right. My start may have been slow and unconfident, but doing what I was told to do every single day created a ripple effect. Every day I would just choose little things that I wanted to work on that I knew I wanted to be better at. Like, I'm bad at making videos. So I would make just a little 2-second workout video just to show a move I was doing, or I knew that I had issues with communication, so I would do a personal development book, and I may have done only little things every single day, but now, this far into it, that ripple effect and the momentum that it's built has paid off in more ways than I ever imagined. Like, I never thought that this little decision to spend, a little time working on me and maybe getting some free products from the business would not only grow into a full-time income for my family, but it became an opportunity for me to grow into everything that I never thought I would be. I wanted to succeed so badly that I pushed through every fear and negative thought until I was slowly becoming the person that I had imagined my entire life that I could become. And I'm really just so grateful every single day that I took the time to do this, and that, what was I saying? Just that I dove in and took the time to do this, and my family's life has been changed in more ways than I could ever imagine. You can take it, Rena.
Try. I love it. A train went by, sorry. I just want people to know that I did not pay her to do this call. I didn't pay her to say that.
She did know because I was scared.
I know. I love it. I love your story, and I honestly haven't heard everything that you shared either. This is the first time me kind of hearing some of your backstory and things like that. And I have a big question that we didn't really plan, but I want to know how, and you're probably still getting through it, but how did you get past that fear of sharing and stuff like that? Because you're posting consistently and you're doing, all those little things as a coach. So how did you get past that fear of doing that and putting yourself out there? Or have you?
Honestly, I think it was just because of my family and what I wanted to be for my kids. Like, I knew that I needed to do this to succeed, and whether I felt comfortable or happy or confident doing it, I knew that I would get the results that I wanted from doing it. So I didn't feel right half the time, and it didn't make me feel comfortable, but I did it anyways because I wanted to succeed that bad. And because you told me that it would work, so.
I didn't pay her to say that either, I promise. Okay, and so I love that. I love that. And I think that that's where a lot of coaches get stuck, is they let that fear get in their way. But honestly, if they just suck it up and push it aside, Dexter's freaking out. Suck it up and push it aside, that's when real huge changes start to happen. So that's awesome. So before the call, I had her send me some things that, see Brett lay on the call. Had her send me some points. I said, I want to know some points that you focused on and things you did in the beginning as a new coach, and I want to kind of touch on all those things, because the majority of the viewers are probably going to be new coaches or emerald coaches and things like that. And like she said, she was a consistent Success Club earner, and I feel like, I think, and tell me if I'm wrong, but when I remember adopting you and seeing that you had hit Success Club and you're consistently doing these things, at that point it was like we had to kind of switch and you need to turn some of these people into coaches. You need to get diamond, right? And so I want to know how your customer to coach transition happens and what exactly you do and your approach to finding coaches and turning customers into coaches, basically.
Okay, when I started with my whole confidence issue and everything, my goals were just to get some free product. I had no problem accepting when someone said that they weren't sure they could afford Shakeology, or they didn't know if they wanted to drink their food, they just wanted to do the workout. I was like, deal, done, sold, let's sign you up. I did not care about anything but making just enough money to cover my products and to help someone get some sort of start on their journey. So I had no problem settling with that. What really changed was when I got switched to Reina, and also when I realized that every coach around me was advancing and growing their team, and I had an okay income, but it was based strictly on my commissions, and I had nothing from a team. And I knew that I wanted to eventually, hopefully, bring Billy home from work and be able to pay for things that we hadn't had before. And I knew that part of that was going to have to be the recruiting aspect. And really, I'm a driven person. Like, I like to set goals and achieve them. And I set it in my head that from that point on, my focus was not going to be on, the income I can make for me or sealing a deal for a little $50 program rather than putting in 6 months of work to eventually help someone jump in with a challenge pack or become a coach. And so I switched my focus more to the people's needs and more towards what would pay off long term. I was a short-term person. I wanted results then and there. And really, that's what's changed everything for me. I hit that point where that wasn't enough for me anymore, and I had big goals, and I knew that it was going to take more than what I was doing to achieve them. So every single person that talked to me, if they were not financially ready to start the whole thing, I was like, that is totally fine. I get that. Do you want to contact me when you're ready, or would you like me to follow up with you every single month when I have a challenge group coming up? And they would, most of the time, they said yes. And literally, sometimes it would take me 8 months of every single month before I had a challenge group being like, hey, how are things going? Are you ready to get started? I have a group coming up, and I'd love to have you join. And they would say yes or no, and I would just keep doing it over and over and over. I never would settle for anything less than what I knew was going to give them the best results. And I think that's what changed it a lot.
Yeah, and that goes into how much we preach about being consistent. And I was the same way. I want to touch on how in the beginning, and Brett and I have shared this on our team page a few times, I think, but in the beginning, for probably the first year of my business, all of my paychecks were commission-driven. They were done by selling challenge packs, by setting people up with workouts and whatnot. And I feel like a lot of coaches do that also. They focus on, that instant gratification. Let's just get somebody set up with a challenge or with a workout only. They don't need Shakeology now. I want that commission. I need to pay for this. I need to pay for that. And I feel like most coaches need to stop and focus on the long term. What's going to benefit my business in the long run? It's hitting Success Club, making sure people have the entire package that they need to be successful and not just half of it. And not settle for that instant gratification, that instant commission, because we know that in the long run, having them in as coaches and increasing that volume is where your real income will come from. So I love that. You talked about your personal obstacles. Anything you want to add about that?
I guess touching on what I just talked about, another thing that made the switch between just selling whatever I could and building a team below me of leaders was I wasn't advancing kind of on purpose. I knew for a fact that if I wanted to be big and build a team and move up in this business that I was going to have to step outside my box. And really, I spent a lot of time just waiting to do that. And if there's any advice that I can have for new coaches, it's that you're going to have to do it eventually. So there's no reason to wait until you're ready, because there's no such thing. I'm not ready right now to do this call, but I know that I have to do it, and I know that it's going to make me better as a coach, and it's opening the doors to me doing other bigger things. So just jump in. There's no point in waiting, because you have to do it eventually.
I want to say that she was so nervous when I asked her to do this call. She was freaking out. I don't want to lie. I'm not going to lie.
I'm still freaking out.
Yeah, I know you are. That's okay. Okay, let's talk about posting. Did you post consistently from the beginning, or that was probably something you had to ease into as well, or?
No, I posted pretty consistently from the beginning. I may not have been very good at posting. I didn't really know what I was doing or how to create quality posts. That changed probably a few months in, but for the most part, I was pretty consistent. I mean, there may have been a few days that I took off, but I don't take any days off now. But in the beginning, there was occasional days, but for the most part, I stayed consistent with the basics.
Okay, I love it. Follow-ups. You do follow-ups? How important are follow-ups?
My follow-ups are, to me, hands down, one of the most important things that I feel has helped my success. I cannot even count, well, now being just over a year in, how many people that I've talked to literally since the day I started, and it's taken them 6 to 12 months to jump in. And I know for a fact that if I had not checked in with them every single month to see how they were doing, check in on how their life's been going, their finances, you know, where they were at in life and ready to start, that I may not have built that trust or that relationship with them that made them feel comfortable to jump in and like I really cared about their results and about them, you know, reaching the goals that they want to reach. I've had people tell me like, you know, thank you so much for getting with me every month. Like, I'm not ready, but I know I will be. Just keep asking me. And these are people I've been talking to for 8 months. And it's totally fine. Like, I don't dwell on my no's. When someone tells me no, it's, all right, perfect. I'll contact you next month. And I just move on and find new people. But I never get my follow-ups, ever. Like, I don't want anybody to ever feel like I forgot about them, or since they weren't ready to start, they're no longer worth my time or my attention. I want to make sure they feel like I actually care, because I do, and it's not just about the sale.
Yeah, and that was my next point was the building relationships and building trust. So you're not messaging people saying, hey, are you ready to get started? What does your normal follow-up look like to build that relationship and build that trust?
I kind of pride myself in the fact that since the day I've started, at first, it was just because I was too scared to contact people. So I never talked to anybody unless they talked to me. But to this day, I'm still actually able to do that. I don't do many, sometimes I do, but for the most part, I don't do many cold contacts. What I do is every day I add to my network. I go to my friends you may know. I add mostly women just because I've only ever signed one male challenger. So at this point, I just go with what's my niche and what I know is going to work for me. I add any friends, and I add the ones that I have high mutual friends in common with, because I've found that those people are more likely to talk to me because they have friends in common, so the trust factor is already there. And when I add those people, I don't message them and be like, hey, thanks for the ad, I'm a Beachbody coach, and tell them all about what I do. I go straight to their newsfeed, and I'll comment on like a few of their first top posts or pictures, and I make sure when I'm going through my newsfeed, if I do not recognize someone's name or face, I'm going to like and comment their post. I'm going to make sure that they see my face, that they know I'm there, and that Facebook keeps us in contact with each other, because, you know, Facebook only lets you see people or let people see your stuff that you're in constant contact with. So every day when I get on, I don't mess around on Facebook, but I scroll through my newsfeed and I like almost every single post. And if I have an applicable comment, I comment on there. And half the time, when I comment on someone's post randomly, within a day, they message me about one of my coaching posts or transformation posts, and I really truly believe that those tiny, low-pressure interactions are what make people feel more comfortable to contact you in the first place.
Brett is sitting here behind me, and he's going, that's it, that's what people need to be doing. And it's true. You said even, you know, I have a lot of coaches who come to me and they're like, how do I reach out to new people? How do I get more people interested? And they're always wanting to like message and cold message people and things like that. And I'm like, you don't have to. If you're doing what you need to be doing every single day, people will come to you. And I remember us talking. I remember you messaging me and saying, Raina, I don't feel like I'm doing that much to get where I am. Like, it's kind of easy. And I say that, don't I? I say that to Brett all the time, that I don't feel like I'm really working, because it comes natural to us, but also we don't make excuses, and we post, and we're open to sharing our lives, and we're consistent at it, and that's when people, he's going to add something.
When you're sharing every day consistently and you're engaging other people, you don't have to sell. You know what I mean? When you're simply just sharing, it is people come to you and more. I always tell people, you can't be the one to post 2 or 3 times a day, right, on Facebook and not like or not comment on anybody else on your newsfeed at all and expect people to come to you. If you're not engaging people, people aren't going to engage you. And so if you're consistent on Facebook or social media, talking to people, posting things like that, when it comes time for that sale to close that customer or that coach, it's so much more organic and it's so much more natural and it's so much more easy than it is if it's just cold. You know what I mean? So when you have that rapport built up with that person, even if it's just from simply commenting or liking stuff here and there, it's so much easier. Yeah. So I'm glad that you said that, because that is the truth, and I preach it all the time to people. You know what I mean? I'm like, if I go through our coaches' news feeds and I don't see them popping up on mine, like engaging, liking stuff, that's a problem. You know what I mean? So kudos to you.
Good job, Katie. This is the Katie show, not the Brett show, though.
Sorry. It was a compliment.
It was a compliment.
Thank you, Brett.
Study. Okay, I want to transition a little bit to have you speak to like the Emerald coaches out there and those people pushing for Diamond. I want you to talk about how you've been able to grow a team and actually build up people who want to work the business versus just discount coaches, because I know you do have a mixture. But I want to know how you're, one, attracting people that want to work the business, and two, working with them to get to where they need to be.
Okay, this is a little bit of a newer topic for me since team building has only been something I've focused on very recently, but I'm starting to really fall in love with doing it. My whole focus has changed kind of with the business. I'm still in the business of helping people and creating solutions for their problems, but now since watching my own team and income build, I have a huge passion for helping other people achieve that same thing as well. I guess what I have found helps with building my team is I'm constantly sharing my own struggles with them. Like if I know that they're struggling with certain issues, I relate my story to their story. So I take advantage of showing them. I even show like my numbers and stats from where they were at and I tell them exactly what I did to get where I'm at. So I focus a lot on making sure I relate myself to them and their situation. I do use incentives to help with rank advancement. I know that some people are driven by that, but for the most part, I haven't found that that's like the hugest thing that builds my team. I have found that my team does like pressure though, so giving my team a goal and a date and telling them exactly what they have to do to achieve it by then, it helps them grow tremendously. It gives them something to work towards rather than just blindly posting every single day and hoping that something happens. I like to just give them something to work for so they know this is what I need to do, this is how I'm going to achieve it, this is when I'm going to achieve it by, and nobody likes to not meet their goals, so they make it happen. Let me see. I haven't been doing team calls up until this point. I have like message threads running in my team page, but I am going to start doing team calls, which I think and I'm hoping will greatly benefit from them because I know that they really like the face-to-face contact. So that's one thing I'm working on. But yeah, mostly I think that's about what's been working for me.
What point did you like make a team page and stuff like that? At what point in your business?
I made a team page the second I hit Diamond. Half of my coaches were discount coaches. I really only had a few that were working the business. But I can't remember where it was that I saw it, but I remember seeing that you need to do, be, and act like what you want to become, and I knew that I wanted to eventually be an elite and a high star Diamond coach, so I decided once I hit Diamond that right then and there I was going to be doing the activities of a top coach, which was having a team page and keeping my team updated on sales and national wake-up calls and keeping them motivated and on track with everything. So that was probably it for that.
Perfect. And you have your spouse signed up under you, correct?
What was that?
Your spouse, Billy.
He did. Actually, Billy signed up the day I signed up to start coaching. A month in, he decided that it wasn't really his thing, and really I was the one that was most into it from the get-go. I just thought it'd be kind of fun if he did it with me and, you know, a little bonding thing. But he decided pretty quickly that he didn't really think it was for him, and he had big goals he was focusing on at work, so that kind of took the forefront. Billy did actually recently jump in and start coaching with me. We both went to Summit in Nashville this year, and it set a fire and passion bigger than I ever imagined would happen going to Summit. I hoped that, you know, it might spur Billy to jump in, but not like it did. As soon as we got back, even on the car ride home, like we were sitting there planning out exactly what he was going to be doing beside me, what our goals were, how we were going to achieve it, and the second we got home, Billy did exactly what I did every single day, and our business has grown double in the last month. Like, the amount of people on my team, our income, everything has just skyrocketed. Having him by my side and doing what I'm doing and we work together, and we're actually going to probably be running our team as one unit, we're thinking. That's really working for us. So that's, and having just his support, and if he needs me to watch the kids while he does it, or vice versa, and if he needs a potential to hit a rank or I need one, we just work together and it works perfect, and our business is booming. And plus, he's everything that I'm not, and I'm everything that he's not, so together, we're everything. And it works really, really well.
Wow. I love it. You remind me of us.
I love it.
He's like, yeah, no, that's funny. Though that's awesome. It's fun to see. I can't imagine, like before, Brett and I would have killed each other if we were working together. But doing something that you love and something that you both have a passion for just makes it easier every single day. So Brett wants to say something.
Another thing, since the call today is about coach struggles, I know I hear a lot of times from men, and particularly spouses or significant others, about how their husband or their boyfriend or whatever is just not supportive of them, thinks it's annoying, and they're not paying attention to them and stuff. One thing I'll say to help with that is, talk is talk, right? But if you are doing the things that you're supposed to be doing, doing your workouts every day, posting, doing your power, things like that, if you're consistent in all those things, your spouse or significant other is going to come around. You know what I mean? I was the same with Raina. I thought it was annoying. I'm like, well, it's going to last 2 weeks. And she just was consistent with everything that she did. And didn't take long before we started reaping the benefits of all that. And I came around. You know what I mean? So if you guys are having issues with that out there, make sure you're consistent. And don't just talk the talk, walk the walk. And your spouse will come around, I promise. And if they need to talk to you, you can always send them to me. Be happy to do it.
Yeah. All right, I want to go through and just ask some questions. Some people had some questions really fast. Shauna did say, I love the idea of going through my newsfeed to like and comment on posts to be more engaged. I'll be doing this for sure from now on. Thanks to Katie and Brett for expressing how important something like that would be beneficial. Didn't even think of doing that to be more engaged. So yeah, that's a good thing. Megan's asking, how do you deal with feeling overwhelmed in the beginning? Like there's so many trainings going on that she feels like she's not taking everything in. Is it your main focus, or what was your main focus that was most important, and what's the biggest tip to help your coaches at Success Club?
Okay, with being overwhelmed, I can just say that I too was extremely overwhelmed, especially with not having an upline that I was able to contact and get information from. What it came down to with me being overwhelmed was that I knew it would surpass, it would definitely pass by, and I knew that it would pass by through me getting more experience. So I dove into talking to as many people as possible so that I could learn about the products. I did a challenge group and ran it, even though I felt like I had no idea what I was doing. 1 week into being a coach, I set up my first challenge group, and I just had faith that it was going to work out. And when it came down to me feeling like I couldn't get everything in, I kind of just gave myself a little break and made sure that I did the things that really mattered. If anything was going to get sacrificed, it was going to be the extra training. It wasn't going to be my posting, it wasn't going to be my follow-ups or my networking or my reaching out. I made sure that I fit in. All in my personal development was huge. I just made sure that all the basics were covered, and from there I just did what I was able to do. I had pressure on myself because I had such big goals, but I had to step back and realize that I can only do so much, and if I'm going to do something, it's going to be the basics, because really the basics are where it's at and what matters. What was the other half of her question?
That was a good answer on that one. What's the biggest tip to help your coaches at Success Club?
I'm actually pretty new to that one, but since I've been working on building up Success Club points so that I can earn elite points, most of my coaches are newer, so I've talked to them about hitting Emerald and getting Success Starter so they can get their free ticket. Incentives like that always help push someone to Success Club. And really, I've just shown why it's important, because it's been engraved in my head since day one that Success Club is not negotiable, and I show my coaches that. I'm right there beside them every day being like, how's it going? How are your follow-ups going? Are you having any issues? Like, let's make sure you hit Success Club. This is why it's so important. And I just make sure that I'm constantly telling them that If you want to succeed and advance and make something of this business, it's non-negotiable. And I really just think being more of a equal beside them and showing them how to do it and how I'm doing it and why it's mattered in my journey has really helped them realize why it matters, and then they go out and they push hard to make sure that it happens as well.
Yep, and I want to touch on the fact that, yeah, you can't not hit Success Club and expect your coaches to hit Success Club. So this Success Club is the bread and butter of our business. It's income, it's rank advancement, it's recognition, it's trips, it's everything. So if you're not making a priority in your business, then your coaches aren't going to make it a priority in theirs. So if your coaches are struggling, hopefully you are not struggling, so you can, lead them by example. So any other questions? Katie, any closing, anything? I'm looking to see if anybody else uploaded a question really fast. Okay, I think that's it, but I will tag you if other people ask questions or anything like that. Any tips or closing anything?
I guess if there's anything that I want new coaches to get from this call, it's that consistency is everything. That those little tiny tedious tasks that seem like they're doing absolutely nothing, they're doing everything. I mean, I watched my coach for 6 months before I decided that I wanted anything to do with Beachbody, and one day she woke up to a message with 2 new coaches that she had no idea that I was even watching. And in the beginning, I did really well for like my first 2 months with my warm market, and then there was 3 months where I was up until 11 p.m. the last day of the month, making sure that I secured Success Club 5. And it was my consistency and drive to make sure I hit those basics, that no matter what, I was just going to do what I was told would work, and it worked. Literally every single thing that Raina said would happen happened, as long as I did what she told me to do. And it really just comes down to those months where you feel like nobody's watching and nobody cares. I promise you that everybody is watching, and if you take a day off, they're gonna notice. They're gonna be like, "Oh, I wonder what Katie is up to. I haven't heard about her. I wonder, what she's been doing this weekend, and did she do a workout?" And I make sure every single day that my face is there, and that people know that I'm sticking to my journey, and this is the real deal. So,
best closing statement ever. I love it. Well, I want to thank you for hopping on, and you can go breathe and have some wine now if you haven't already.
Deal.
Yeah. I will let you go, and thank you again for hopping on and sharing all this information. I'll have it posted on our YouTube channel, and you can share with your team and everybody too if you want. So,
all right.
right. Have a good day, guys.
Bye.
Bye.